Good morning, it's Barnes and Leslie with Jimmy. Hey, man.
I like it. Good morning.
Good to see ya.
Yeah, good to see you guys, too. Always.
Well, let's see if you have your old Sleaze shoes to put on. Here we go, Leslie Fram.
Well, in honor of Jimmy Barron being here for Celebrity Sleaze, I mean, Barnes, I have to bring up the whole Seinfeld potential reunion that Jerry sort of just dropped on everything. And dropped on everyone.
You don't know about this?
I don't know about this.
What?
I have been on CNN for 5 days straight.
Wow.
What are you talking about?
So this is like a revelation that I'm actually like
2 days
JB
later.
has no idea about.
Well, maybe he's a snapshot of our typical listener. Maybe we're just expect that everyone knows what's going on.
Well, do tell.
Yeah, that's true. Well, you know, Seinfeld, was he doing stand-up, Barnes?
Here.
Is that where he was?
It's only 30 seconds. I'll play it for you, JB. This was Seinfeld on stage over the weekend.
I have a little secret for you about the ending, but I can't really tell it. Because it is a secret. Here's what I'll tell you, okay? But you can't tell anybody. Something is going to happen that has to do with that ending. It hasn't happened yet. Just what you are thinking about, Larry and I have also been thinking about. So you'll see.
What's happening?
Okay, I'm going to predict that this is like another Super Bowl commercial. Because remember last time when they talked about the Seinfeld reunion and it was just the Super Bowl commercial? He's not bringing that show back.
Why?
He's not bringing the show back.
Talk about your theory, Barnes.
I think maybe, well, they've already done it once, but it could be a Curb Your Enthusiasm thing with Larry doing something again with everybody.
Okay, maybe it could be that. Like him being.
But you
on
have
the
a good theory. It could be something Super Bowl.
And by the way, this is the time of year we start hearing about Super Bowl stuff, right?
Could
be. He has made it very clear and very accurate that show cannot come back.
But do you think if it is a Super Bowl commercial, people will be like, calling BS on that?
Yeah, they'll be let down.
Yeah, because that was a pretty big, he worked it. Like, that wasn't just a casual mention.
You mean when he did the Super Bowl thing?
No, just right now, what he said.
Now, yeah, well, he's hyping it. That's his, that's the job, is to hype. I'm going to withhold any excitement at this point.
Okay. Well, in honor of JV, I also want to bring up Springsteen. For the first time talking about
leading with Seinfeld and Springsteen.
Yes, I'm telling you, this was like
ever done that.
Super serving you for Celebrity Sleaze. Bruce talking about his peptic ulcer disease. He's finally made a statement. Quote, "This belly thing, despite my ability to laugh at it, has been a monster and is still, unfortunately, rocking my internal world, but it's better this week than it was last. I want to thank everybody for their support and well wishes." I mean, it's got to be bad if you're going to cancel a tour.
Okay.
Come on.
Can I opine on this? And
yes,
I'm on all the fan boards and everything. Okay. I'm calling BS on this.
What?
I'll tell you why.
On the ulcer?
Everything that I have read on peptic ulcers has said the same. And I've talked to doctors about this. Like, it's peptic, you take whatever it is, peptic AC. It's not a debilitating disease. People work through it. There's millions of people who have peptic ulcers, and it's easily managed. I can't imagine they really canceled this huge. Think of the numbers, the money involved in this tour. I don't buy that they canceled this tour because of peptic ulcers. A lot of people on the boards are saying there's something else going on. There's some other health issue that they may be using this as a deflection. But I'm just not buying that this tour was canceled because of peptic ulcers.
So he chose a peptic ulcer?
I just don't buy it.
But listen, people have peptic ulcers, but people are not performing for 3.5 hours and running around on stage.
Okay, but it's a manageable thing. It's not it's not. I just haven't seen anything. By the way, I'm not a doctor. I don't know if you know that. I have not seen one thing that has said peptic ulcers can take over your life, can be debilitating.
Okay,
we'll see.
But
I don't buy it. I think there's something else bigger going on.
Well, I know you've been busy. Have you listened to our show when we've talked about the Mt Rushmore of bands for Georgia?
I have seen it online, and I am. I have seen some of the nominations. Yes.
Well, Bruce must be listening to our show because he's talking about his Mt Rushmore of bands. I saw that title, Barnes, and I'm like, was he listening to the Morning X?
Yeah, that just came out of nowhere?
Yeah, talking about the Mt Rushmore bands. He says the Beatles, Stones, Animals, and then he brings up Dave Clark 5 and DC 5. Way to go, Bruce. Yeah, maybe he's listening to the Morning X. I have no idea.
I mean, everybody's got their own Mount Rushmore. I mean, I put the Beatles and Stones out there. I like the Dave Clark 5 and the Animals. They might be on, I don't know, they might be a little bit further down the list.
We talked about Jada Pinkett Smith. She's got this explosive book coming out talking about how, she and Will Smith have been separated since 2016. More from that interview, though, with Hoda, where she said she and Will have been separated since 2016, but now explaining why they didn't announce it to anyone.
I feel like you're a straight talker.
I am.
Except you're not sometimes.
Yeah.
So why do that? Like, what was the reason?
I think just not being ready yet. Still trying to figure out between the two of us how to be in partnership, right? In regards to how do we present that to people, And we hadn't figured that out.
She also told Hoda that her marriage was fractured and that they didn't just go and get a divorce.
Why it fractured, that's a lot of things.
Yeah.
And I think by the time we got to 2016, we were just exhausted with trying. I think we were both kind of still stuck in our fantasy of what we thought the other person should be. I made a promise that there will never be a reason for us to get a divorce. We will work through whatever. And I just haven't been able to break that promise.
But you still live separately.
We live separately.
That book is called Worthy. It's coming out on the 17th. This was actually kind of interesting.
Hold on. We got the best piece from all of this news that put together the puzzle, where Chris Rock asked her out.
What?
Well, that's the thing I was about to mention. She
I
said
thought you were moving on. I'm sorry. I thought you were moving on to another
long
story.
Before the slap, he asked her out because he had heard that they were divorcing.
That makes a whole lot of sense now.
That's the first interesting thing I've heard about the entire Will Smith, Jada Pinkett Smith divorce.
I mean, think about it.
That is interesting. Huh. He's not married anymore?
Who?
Chris Rock?
Well, if he asked her out,
I guess not.
I guess
not. Wow.
Did you not see that Chris Rock special that was on Netflix? Yeah. Barnes, you're a drummer. I need to ask you about this story.
Yes.
I'm like kind of confused. James Hetfield was talking about Lars from Metallica has never rehearsed before. And just maybe up until a couple of years ago. That before that, he never rehearsed. How is that possible? You're doing like stadium shows, arena shows, you're Metallica, and you don't rehearse?
I mean, I don't know how he could do that. I mean, I know they're playing once they get the set down, they get the set down. They're not changing it up drastically, but still, that's kind of disrespect to the rest of the team.
Is he saying that the band rehearses without Lars?
I mean, I guess so.
He's not saying the band doesn't rehearse, obviously, but...
he called out Lars specifically.
Yeah, that is a little bit of a diss.
I don't know if you've watched this or not. It did come out today, Barnes and Jimmy. Lenny Kravitz stripping down naked in a steamy new music video for his song TK421, leaving little to the imagination.
I've been seeing him on TikTok performing his classics, like Let Love Rule and stuff like that, just him and an acoustic guitar. It's been very cool, but he's been dressed.
Well, he's completely nude, stretching his hands behind his head as only like a statue covering him from the waist down. Another full frontal view captures him with only his fingers covering his private parts. And even then, he's coming dangerously close to giving viewers like a glimpse. This is out now. This is going to rack up millions of views.
Well, if he's covering his business just with a finger, Lenny.
That's right. At least a thumb, I mean.
Wow.
If it's his pinky, that's
not good.
That's unfortunate.
Do you remember back when Sharon Osbourne had that memoir out and she said that she and Ozzy still have this unassisted suicide pact together. Well, she says that's still true. She's like, we're not going to suffer. Yes, we all are, but I don't want it to actually hurt as well. If she said that if both of them survive, they're not going to suffer. We 100% believe in euthanasia. So we sat down, we drew up a plan to go to the assisted suicide flat in Switzerland if we ever have an illness that affects the brain. If Ozzy or I ever get Alzheimer's, that's it. We would be off. Very interesting that she brought that back up. Michael Jackson's black and white jacket from that 1984 Pepsi ad is hitting the auction block. Pepsi even got Michael to record a special version of Billie Jean. What do you think that's going to go for?
I don't know. But when you think about that, what you just said, that in some meeting, some Pepsi exec was like, let's get him to do a version.
Yeah.
And even with all the money, I mean, it was pretty cool.
You're a whole new generation. You're dancing through the day. You're grabbing for the magic on the run. You're a whole new generation. You're loving what they do. I put a Pepsi in the motion, but that choice is up to you. Hey.
I mean, that's the equivalent of maybe Taylor Swift doing a Coke commercial like that
Right.
at this time.
For whatever reason, I'm starting to get a lot of his old videos come up on my feed on TikTok.
What?
I don't know. For whatever reason, all of a sudden, the last few days, I'm getting Michael Jackson concert videos, and it reminds me, everything aside, as a performer, he was pretty unmatched.
Oh, unbelievable. Yeah, but I think the strangest part of what you just said is that you're on TikTok.
That's what I was going to say. The strangest part is you have a TikTok?
I'm on the talk. I'm on the talk.
Your son must be humiliated.
Well, we have different. I mean, the stuff that comes up on his, except for baseball, because we both get a lot of baseball stuff.
Well, I would hope that you get different.
Yeah, we get different things.
Well, they're expecting this to go up on the auction block. They're expecting anywhere from $250,000 to $500,000. I would not be surprised. Talk about a couple of titans joining forces. Beyonce joined Taylor Swift at the Eras Tour film premiere, taking over like 13 of AMC Grove's theaters. I guess it dropped early. Taylor addressed the crowd, thanking everyone for being there, saying she appreciated everyone for being there. Like Beyonce was there, Adam Sandler, Julia Garner, Jennifer Meyer, Mariska Hargitay. The stars were out, and this is, of course, expected to, pre-sales were over 100 million, Barnes, for the Eras Tour.
Unreal.
Jimmy, I know you're hitting the theaters this weekend
Let's
to see
go,
it,
JB.
right?
You and I should go.
This weekend to the Taylor Swift show?
Yeah, to the movie.
I'll see what I'm doing.
I would go. I wanted to see what the hell's happening.
I would like to see it. I would like to see it. And actually, that's kind of the perfect way to see it than to go to an arena and have to deal with the traffic and the screaming and the whatever. Did I tell you guys that I have a good friend who is on the crew, who is one of the guys who got the $100,000 check from her?
Really?
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I have a very good friend. He's in the catering. He caters for the crew, and he got the $100,000 check.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That is your Celebrity Sleaze with Jimmy Barron in the house.
Everyone is talking about this. One of the biggest events of the year, the new Taylor Swift Eras movie opened in Los Angeles, and it premiered to thousands of fans at a giant mall. Yeah, that's how powerful Taylor is. In 2023, she can get people to a mall.